South Korea's students spend way more time in the classroom than Americans. That might explain why they've been outperforming us lately by leaps and bounds. But there's another country where students spend less time in class than the South Koreans, and their performance is also off the charts: Finland. On the surface, Finland is the education world's ultimate slacker. Children don't start school here until they're 7 years old. They have far less homework than many countries, and they log fewer hours in the classroom than most developed countries, even the United States. But don't be fooled. Finnish students score first in the world in science and second in the world in math.
That's a kind of amazing thing that we are able to achieve high internationally in these academic areas that are measured with a very little work and a very short school days.
Pasi Sahlberg is a leading figure in Finland's education field and works with its Ministry of Education. In his recent book, Finnish Lessons, he says Finland is less concerned about the amount of time students spend in class than with how that time is spent.
If we could calculate how much time young people engage in real learning, I think Finnish young people are probably at the same level where your children or Japanese or Koreans are.
In Finland schools, teachers spend less time drilling the facts and more time developing students' creativity. Most importantly, says Sahlberg, hardly any time is spent preparing students for standardized tests.
We have deliberately removed all those things. We never had a standardized testing system, and I hope that we never will.
But how can Finland afford to be so flexible in its approach and still get great results? The answer is simple. They have great teachers. Teaching is a highly respected profession here, on par with doctors and lawyers. That's because they're all required to have master's degrees. The competition for those degrees is fierce. Only 1 in 10 applicants is accepted to primary school teacher training programs.
The elementary teacher program is hardest to get in the university. It's harder to get in than to medical school or law school. And I think teachers' task is to give this.
Kristi Lanka, a professor of educational psychology at the University of Helsinki, says her school routinely turns away highly qualified candidates. It's the exact opposite situation in America. Almost half of all U.S. teachers graduate in the bottom third of their college class.
I'm asking what kind of information we need.
Kaisa Heikkinen was one of the lucky ones accepted to the University of Helsinki's teacher education program.
From sort of day one, they start making you think about the importance of how you're teaching and what it is that you're trying to get across. It's not just your subject, it's also that you're raising future citizens. When you think about Finland, what comes to mind? And
in addition to managing her course load, she practices her craft at a local school under the watchful eye of an experienced teacher.
Definitely from the start, they put you on the spot and you have to start kind of performing as a teacher.
South Korea and other high-performing nations are known for their well-trained educators too. But in Finland, teachers are given far more autonomy. There is a national curriculum here, but it's just a framework, serving as a guide for each school instead of a top-down edict. And because teachers don't have standardized tests to worry about, they can teach their students however they want.
It's like in a company, you have a strategy of the company, but you are not watching each employee all the time. So it's a very autonomous profession.
But this autonomy and handing over the responsibility of many things to schools would not have been possible if we hadn't had this academic program for training teachers. So without good teachers, you cannot really do this.
With all of that responsibility and the respect that comes with it, Finnish educators tend to stay in their profession, compared to the US, where the turnover among teachers is roughly 7 times higher. But let's get real for a moment. What can America learn from a tiny, ethnically homogeneous country that's home to just over 5 million people? Sahlberg agrees that size does matter, but he points out that over 30 American states are similar to Finland in population.
Colorado or Maryland or Minnesota or Massachusetts, very close to what Finland could be.
But an American classroom is likely to be far more diverse, featuring many different languages and ethnic origins, and have a great deal more poverty. Only 4% of Finnish children are poor, while in the US the rate is over 20%.
I've been in these classrooms in the United States, and whenever I see these huge diversities and poverty, I'm